Aloha and welcome everyone to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you are building or remodeling a home, you've just got to stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and President of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Each week during this hour, we share the experiences of how our nonprofit agencies are working to benefit our island home, with stories of how those agencies are changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those in need. Today, we have a couple of people who, we have one we haven't talked to for about a year, I think, and we have another one who has a new season coming up of activities. And we're going to start out with her, and this is Kelly McHugh. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. Kelly is the Youth Program and Marketing Manager for Hui Noeau. Everybody tells me I say that wrong because I get Nui in there.
You were close. It's Noeau.
Noeau. Yep. Very good. I got the no right instead of new. Okay, Noeau.
Well done.
I love it. Now I've got the correct pronunciation right from, I'm not going to say the horse's mouth. I refuse to say that.
Please don't.
So, how are things going up at the Hui?
So busy, but so much fun. We've got such a great facility up there, and we're just finishing up our black and white photography exhibition, which closes this Friday, and we're getting ready to prepare receiving day for our next community exhibition, which is called The Hui Teaches, and it's our student and faculty salon exhibition. And with that change, we're also kind of wrapping up our spring session and just launching our summer session. So a nice little season of change right now for us and a lot of activity.
It doesn't seem possible that it's time for summer. But today is May 1st. I wore my pink plumeria shirt in honor of Lay Day.
It's very pink.
It's pink. You're right. For those of you who can't see it, good. You'd have to close your eyes. It's that bright pink. But summer brings all kinds of special activities up at the Hui because the children are out of school.
Exactly. Yes, which is one of my main focal points up at the Hui. The public schools let out at the end of this month, and then we have our Waldorfs and Montessoris and Cardins and St. Anthony's getting out in the next couple of weeks. And we start our 7-week summer camp program on June 3rd. So we kind of have some time this month to prepare ourselves, focus on exhibitions, focus on our gallery shop, and really rev up, our engines to get ready for those hundreds of children that are going to be coming through in June and July, which is a really amazing time to be at the Hui.
And you're not exaggerating when you
I'm
talk
really
about
not.
hundreds. I know from past shows we've just sat here and marveled at the numbers and coming from all over the island.
Exactly, yeah, and all over the country, really, because we also cater to visitors and do single-day drop-in students and whatnot, and sometimes international students too, coming to visit grandparents or just here on vacation. So it's such an interesting program. We have had children come through that don't speak a lick of English, but it's art camp, so they can kind of use their hands and show us what they're thinking, and they all find a way to really get along and collaborate and have a great time and teach us a thing or two. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, when somebody like that comes, is there usually a brother or sister with them, or are they sometimes
yes,
individuals?
sometimes no. And in the case that there is no support, we're such a hands-on organization, and we keep our camps and our classes at a really tight student-to-teacher ratio so that the parents always feel really comfortable just checking in with me. I also have parents that check in with me, they're a little too comfortable checking in with me and want to know the color themes that their children are working with that day, which is fine. But if we do have children that, are English as a second language, generally their parents or their guardians just let us know if they feel lonely. If it's not working out, they'll just come and grab them. But I've never had that case. So,
wow.
Yeah, we've been really lucky.
That's terrific. Now, how long have you been there?
I'm in my 5th year now.
Wow.
So it still feels very new, but in terms of kind of being in the nonprofit field, I'm an old veteran, I guess, staying in one place for 5 years straight, I've been told. So.
No, that's great. Well, nobody knows the program better than you do after 5 years.
Yeah, we've definitely designed it and redesigned it and redesigned it throughout those 5 years and kind of come full circle. What I like to do and what my programs team likes to do with their adult and visiting artist programs is really, really involve the teaching artists in the program design. So if something's not working, we get together as a team and we talk about how to make it better, what should we do differently next season, and we do it. We apply those changes so that we're always, we're always doing the best job that we can do with the team that we have, which changes.
I was going to say, that's what was going to be my next question. Is it always changing? I'm sure there's a certain number of people that are always there.
Yeah. Well, our roster of teaching artists, by definition, a teaching artist is first and foremost an exhibiting artist, someone that's creating art in the community. And then they come to the Hui, or we seek them out because they can break down their process and teach it. They don't have to have a master's in teaching, but they do have to kind of exemplify to us that they can break that down and create a formal marketing plan and come to us with a really specific business plan for selling their method. So as a result, I mean, we're not really offering full-time, positions for these teaching artists, and they have many, many other things that they're doing. So again, by definition, they're really coming through. If they're lucky enough that they've found 2 or 3 other positions that do the same thing that we do, offer the same amount of hours, and still allow them that time in their studio that they need to create their own work, we get to hang on to them. And we have had some for 20 plus years, a really core group of 5 or 6 teaching artists there, which is outstanding because the Hui's changed so much in 20-something years. So we look to them and their expertise as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's changed so much in the last 10 years.
Yeah, in the last 5 years
5
since
years.
I've been there. Yeah, it's just
That's
rapidly changing.
Well, I think when you were able to buy the property, it allowed you so much more freedom.
Right, and that was in 2005.
Okay.
So it did allow us a lot more freedom, but I think it also tightened things up a bit because prior to that time, we were renting the space for $1 a year. Now, all of a sudden, we occupy 10 acres of the 25 acres that Kaluanui entails, which is Hui Noia's home. And it's very expensive to run a property
I would
of
think
that.
so, of that size.
Exactly. So, our class fees, our tuition, our supply fees, our gallery shop sales, our exhibition sales, all of these things, our membership fees are so vital to keeping our doors open. And we're a nonprofit, so we also have to keep our prices as competitive as we can. And just, we offer scholarships to kids on a need basis. It's very challenging, as you both well know, to keep these organizations running, and we're just really fortunate to have some of these donors and foundations that help us each year, and constantly on the lookout for new partners and collaborators to fill in the gaps, where we're having trouble, or to fill strengths where our neighbors in the community are having a little bit of trouble, and it's just a beautiful community.
Yeah, that's great.
One big happy family. Working really hard to keep our doors open.
Right. Now there's a high school coming up on part of your campus, or the other 10 acres, I guess.
Yeah, and that's it's not a Hui program, it is a partnership. So the Haleakala Waldorf School is piloting a high school, and they're renting which was formerly our caretaker's cottage that we now are using for studio space, and we used it for last year's camps. So valuable to have an extra multi-purpose studio. But it'll be great for Waldorf because they're just going to start with, I think, 20 students total. And they're renting that space for 2 years just as a pilot to see if it works. And my understanding, I haven't been intricately involved in the negotiating process, is that they'll be using one of our other core studios each day, ceramics or photography or painting, and integrate that into their, which is the Haleakala.
Such a natural for the Waldorf.
It's a win-win because, if we have a little extra space that we can rent, and there's a partner in the community that needs a space and can make a donation to rent it, and our teaching artists will have a little bit more work, and they'll have this beautiful, there's no denying it's a really beautiful space.
Right.
Everybody's really excited about it.
That's cool. Does that open this fall?
Yeah.
It is this
they're
fall.
moving in, I think in July, they'll be moving in, June or July, to start getting everything prepped. And then, classes open in September for the high school.
Yeah, I know we had the gentleman that's in charge of setting that up on the show earlier this year. And I think it was earlier this year or last fall. It must have been this year. I don't know. Who knows? You know, when you do this show weekly, 1 week turns into 1 month, turns into whatever. But I was so impressed with what he had to say about the Waldorf school system, and then that they were starting the high school over on your property. And I thought, what a natural.
Yeah, and we have a couple of full-time employees at the Hui that are alumni of the elementary school, Haleakala, and so it's really interesting. They've been working with the team that's coming in and talking to us about their curriculum, and they lived through it, so that's also just a nice bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
Experience helps a lot.
Exactly.
And having been a student is one of the greatest experiences for people who are into the arts.
Yeah, it's a
through
great
Waldorf.
school, and we serve a lot of their students in our camps and classes. Anyway, and it's really fascinating to kind of see the similarities and differences between the Waldorf students and some of these public school students, and one from the next too, and then Montessori, and they all have these really different philosophies and different avenues for getting to that same destination, that ultimate destination, but they're all equally valuable. And
Yeah. And the smallness of the classrooms and the class sizes is just, I mean, it's appealing in so many ways.
Yeah, and that's something that we firmly believe in also, because especially with the arts and with creativity, I mean, as human beings, we're so lucky to have, you know, the creative bug, but you really have to be able to give everybody the attention that they specifically need to unlock their creativity. So
Right.
that small classroom
That's one thing I never
size
got
is
in art,
important.
the creativity. Somebody asked me to fill in. They had something drawn for them, and they didn't think the accent lines were dark enough. So they said, "Would you make those dark enough?" I said, "You want me to try to follow those lines? I mean, that's just following lines. Let alone get out there and add a few more." Yeah, right.
Yeah, I never stayed in the line, Susie. It's overrated.
This wasn't even staying in the lines; just staying on the line. But I think I know what I'm good at and what I'm not. You know, and it's when I cross that bridge, I get in trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway, there were some certain things that you wanted to talk about today, and before we spend the whole half hour talking in
Yes.
generalities, let's get to them.
Yeah, well, as we all know, Mother's Day is coming up. So we had a little brainstorm session this week talking about, you know, what can we do for the moms and what does the Hui have to offer mothers for this Mother's Day? And we thought it would be such a great idea, you know, to offer gift certificates if people wanted to buy. We've got 50 new classes, which I think we added up to 227 individual sessions coming up this summer. So plenty of opportunities to buy mom, you know, a jewelry class, ceramics, painting, photography. We have some fiber and textile classes coming up. And we have classes that range from 1 to 2 days to 6 to 8 weeks, meaning once per week. So it's totally widespread of options for mom. And we've got our Hui 2 gallery shop, which is all Maui-made items by Hui artists and members. And those proceeds are split evenly between the artist that gave us the piece for the shop and then our educational programming. So when you buy that gift, it's actually benefiting 3 completely different parties. Lots of good karma locked in that shop. And then our exhibition space as well. Right now we have our black and white photography exhibition, which closes Friday, and it's a really affordable exhibition. And I would say the majority of the work are Maui landscapes and Maui pieces. So a really beautiful kind of keepsake or work of art can be found in our gallery right now, and that would be a beautiful gift as well.
That's an interesting prospect. You know, we think of Maui and pictures of Maui and art of Maui, all these fabulous colors.
Yeah.
It's got to be interesting to look at it in black and white.
So interesting just to see the contrast, you know, in a sunset and focus on that rather than the vibrant colors.
And it gives you much more creative privileges or freedom, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. It's a really interesting exhibition. And we've got, I mean, there's one of my favorite pieces in there is this huge close-up of a bulldog. Just this big, beautiful face with this kind of, deep, thick foliage background. And not that you would necessarily get that it's Maui, but it just feels, it kind of has that really fun, loose feeling, and all the kids are coming in, and it's absolutely their favorite piece. So we've all gotten really attached to that too. So broad range of pieces and
Cool.
compositions in that showing.
Neat. And those are for sale.
Yeah, all for sale. And all the prices are set by the artists. And a lot of these artists are brand new. They've just finished taking a photography class. And so as a result, we're lucky enough that they're setting those prices super affordably. And again, those proceeds are split right down the middle between the artist and then into our mission work. So that's really helpful for us as well.
Terrific. And on that note, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
He's playing games at the control. Last week we played this game of how close can I get to the end of the show before I say goodbye, and he was running the music trying to get it louder and louder so I would, be quiet, let it go, it's gone, it's done. And I got to a point, what was the last words I said? Back here again next week, same time, same place. Bam, we were off.
Ooh.
And I said, good going to him, because I sure didn't know that that's where he was going to cut it, and I had no idea what was going to come out next. So
In tune with
who knows? I know. What my record is, 1 second left?
So you hit it right on one time.
Oh, I hit it right on one time. See,
But never cut off.
I achieved my goal. Now what do I do?
No place to go but up.
I come in early. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so this is a great discussion we're having right now with Kelly McHugh of Hui Noeau.
Noeau.
There we go.
Got it.
I don't
Nailed
know
it.
why. I just stumble. That's awful. I don't know why. It's there. And for those of you who can't see, I'm pointing to my head. I've got it in the brain, but it doesn't come out the mouth.
It's the number one thing we hear from visitors coming in. Please sound this out with me. How do I say the name of this place?
Right. Oh,
Hui Noeau.
can't you imagine when they get back home and they're
Yeah,
showing stuff
slaughter it.
that they picked up at the Hui, and they're going, "Oh, this is such a great place. You've got to go see it." All these words are going through my head as how they're pronouncing it. Oh, that's cool. But what does it actually mean?
Well, Hui means club or
Right.
a gathering, and Noeau means artists or skilled craftsmen. So, in short, we're an artists club or a gathering place for skilled craftspeople.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty lovely.
How appropriate can you get, huh? Oh, that's great. Okay, so we've been talking about Mother's Day gifts for those of you who are still trying to decide what to give mom.
Yes.
We've got 50 new classes coming up, about 200 different sessions. Gift certificate for mom to go to take a class would be a great idea. How can they find out more about the process of getting a gift certificate?
They can come to our website, which
Okay.
is huinoeau.com, and I can spell that for you, HUINOEAU.com, or just give us a ring, and that's 572-6560. And you can speak to whomever picks up or ask for our registrar specifically, and we'll get that started for you right away.
Terrific. So for all of you out there, if you've got someone in your life that you're thinking about giving a Mother's Day gift to, and maybe they've expressed some interest in some art, or you've seen them kind of play with art a little bit, and there's probably a class they could take.
Absolutely. Like I said, we've got so many different types of jewelry classes. So you've got your shell jewelry or your wax casting jewelry. I mean, there's a whole range. And then there's wheel throwing on the potter's wheel in our ceramic studios, raku firing, which is in a really big pit out in the middle of our property, painting, drawing, printmaking, photography, textiles, I mean, you name it. And we've got some really exciting visiting artists coming in this summer, too. Some of them are actually Hui alumni that have moved on to other things on the mainland, such as Casey Newman, who used to help run our printmaking studio, and Natalie Nunez, who kind of jump-started our silkscreen printmaking program. And really, she and I worked very closely together on our teen arts program and our camp program when she was at the Hui a couple years back. So it's really exciting to welcome those and our other visiting artists back for a visit this summer. So again, for Mom, you've got those short-term 1-2 day classes or a longer-term 6 to 8 week class. Whatever suits her personality.
Right. She just may find her calling.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, that's a great idea, I think, because it is hard to think of what to give Mom that's not just going to end up sitting on the shelf or put in a drawer someplace or eaten and it's gone.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
There you go. Okay, so now you've got all kinds of camp things coming up and classes for the keiki.
We sure
to
do.
The young adults.
Exactly. So Camp Kaluanui begins Monday, June 3rd. And these are 7 individual weekly camps, and they're sold as 7 individual weeks. You don't have to sign up for all 7 or 2 or 3. And we also offer kind of single day drop-ins. But you do have to pre-register because they do sell out. And it's really interesting to monitor which weeks sell out from one summer to the next, because we just assign themes to each week of camp. We don't explicitly kind of pre-assign what's going to happen each day of the camp. What I do try to do is balance my teaching artists each week so that every day a child's exposed to at least 2 different specialized artistic media. So one day they might be doing theater arts and storytelling and printmaking, and the next day more painting and drawing, et cetera, et cetera. And so we have themes each week ranging from the never-ending story to Fern Gully, which is more of like a magical Maui rainforest type of theme, to On the Wild Side, which really integrates our Patrick Doherty stickwork sculpture into all the curriculums using found art and weaving and cryptozoology. A lot of the kids like to create creatures in their classrooms and then have them kind of play inside of our gigantic stickwork sculpture that's on our property. And I think this is probably the last summer we'll have that sculpture, because it's been about 2 years and we're starting to see some splinters. So
about the life of it.
Yeah, of one of those sculptures. So so it's just a really, really great program for these guys. And like I said, we try to keep our classrooms, if you can say that, because a lot of the time we have them out on the grounds, to about 10 to 12 students. And we'll have 1 teaching artist and 1 to 2 kind of teaching assistants or interns helping with those guys. So it's a really solid one-on-one ratio, or student to adult ratio.
And the age group for this?
We start at age 5, and we used to cap it at age 12, but I'm starting to see more and more a couple of 13 and 14-year-olds exhibiting interest. So what I like to do is just kind of set that higher age group apart and give them their own session, and then, try to bring in an additional teaching artist. As many children as we can get, we're gonna accommodate, basically.
Wow.
Yeah. But generally, it's in that 5 to 12 age range.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's there's one on there, the Wonders of Water.
Yeah.
Ocean Defenders to the Rescue.
Exactly. And thank you for picking that one out. We're excited to be collaborating with Melinda Carroll, who works extensively with the Girl Scouts of America, and Oriana Kalama, who works with Ocean Defenders Maui. It's a small new nonprofit, and they're going to come in and collaborate with our teaching artists to kind of do underwater sea life education and respect of sea creatures and respect of the water, and integrate some art projects with that curriculum. So we came up with Wonders of Water, Ocean Defenders to the Rescue. So that should be a fun one.
That's cool. Who says you can't do anything you youth can think of up there.
Exactly.
Camp Kaluanui.
Yeah, so that runs, like I said, from June 3rd for 7 weeks through July 26th. We just take a break the week of July 4th. Everyone kind of needs to recharge their batteries for a week. And then for the older group, we have, generally we do one teen intensive each summer. We bring in a visiting artist, but this summer we're going to do 3 separate teen intensives because they've just seemed to be wildly popular with that age group and kind of the only time of year that we can really get our hands on them, just because of their after school activities and all of the responsibilities they have with their homework and whatnot. So we've got John Prime Hina, who runs 808 Urban over on Oahu, which is an aerosol mural based nonprofit organization. He'll be coming out and creating large-scale mural art pieces for the week. We've also got a Process black and white photography intensive that'll last for 5 days. And Gwen Arkin and Brian Miller will be tag teaming in that class, doing shooting, composition, and processing. And they're actually 2 of the invited artists that are featured in our black and white exhibition right now. So if anyone feels interested in that, now's the time to kind of come and get a really nice sample of their work. And then our third intensive for teens is our silkscreen t-shirt boot camp with visiting artist Natalie Nunez, who will be coming back for a visit from her new home in New Mexico. So those are 3 really, really fun options for that age group.
And when we talk about teens or young adults, what ages are we talking?
Generally, I like to start them off at 13 because we will see that enrollment go to 19, even 20 years old. But as I said, with the younger guys, I'm really flexible with the ages. I just, I want to make sure that the teaching artists are comfortable with kind of the broad age range in their group, and that parents are really comfortable putting, maybe their 13-year-old in with a classroom with potentially a 19 or 20-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you've got some keiki activities.
Yeah, so we celebrate the end of camp with Family Day, a community celebration of the arts, and that is kind of the grand unveiling of our youth art exhibition, which opens 2 weeks prior, but that's right smack in the middle of camp. So it's a huge challenge for us. Each week we retain 1 or 2 pieces from every student passing through the Camp Kaluanui program, and we transform our main gallery into this huge, colorful, explosive, interactive space where they get to come and see their work kind of professionally mounted and displayed and show all of their parents and grandparents and friends and be really proud and awesome little guys. And so by the time we get to Family Day on July 28th, every single child is now represented in that gallery because the camp program's POW at that point.
Oh, wow.
So it's a free event from 10 to 2 on Saturday, July 28th. Which is, like I said, kind of the official unveiling of our youth art exhibition, which is just up for 2 weeks. So it's the best day to come check it out.
So there must be a lot of excitement in the air as far as the kids are concerned. That
So much.
their product, their
Yeah.
prize product, is on display for the world to see.
So exciting. And we divide the exhibit by the weekly themes so that the children have work in basically every corner of the gallery, and they're dragging their parents and their grandparents and their friends to their next piece and describing, very theatrically with their hands and their bodies kind of the process they went to create the story that created the blueprint, that created the final piece. And it's really exciting.
I'm getting this image. She's very graphic, isn't she?
I'm using a lot of hand motions too, which aren't translating. But it's kind of everybody's favorite part of this program.
I'll bet.
Is really to see how proud these little guys are of themselves at the end of. And they deserve it. They've put in a lot of hours and a lot of hard work, and they've learned from some of the best artists I've ever seen. So I wouldn't mind being in their shoes.
Yeah,
that day.
and at that age, wow.
Exactly.
So the Hui has so much going on for this summer, and Kelly, you've put together quite an array of things for people to think about, starting out with the gift for Mom for Mother's Day, and then getting into the various classes and workshops and events for all ages.
Exactly.
2.5 up to 19.
All the way. Yes.
All the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Get everybody busy, at least for a day or 2 or a week or whatever.
Or 6 weeks or
6
8
weeks.
weeks.
There you go.
Yes.
Fabulous. And again, so glad to have you on the show.
Thank
It's always
you.
a pleasure to have you here. And you do so much up there at the Hui Nueao.
No A-L, Susie.
No A.
You got it.
I said new, didn't I? No A-L.
There you go.
The
Thank
emphasis
you
on
so much.
A. No A-L. I'll get it. I'll start calling Jerry's the wrong thing here, too, in just a minute. So I don't know what's with me. Anyway, thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you so much.
And for all of you out there, again, those phone numbers, the phone number to contact the Hui, 572-6560. If you're interested in any of the programs or the gift certificate for Mom, or go to their website at huinoeau.com. Wow.
Perfect.
We did it. Okay. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Have a great summer. I know you will.
Too. We'll try.
You know, there's as she talks about this, there's sometimes when I'm sitting here listening to her, and I think, I wonder if we could trade places for just one day.
No problem.
I just, I mean, it sounds so interesting. There wasn't anything like this when I was growing up. You went to Girl Scout camp, you went to 4-H camp, you went to church school camp. That was it. And they were all in the same campgrounds. It was all the same lake. It was all the same, cabins.
Right.
You went for a week or 4 days or whatever the case might be. That was it.
Right.
There wasn't anything like this to go do. Oh, well. What can we say? Anyway, thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay. Jerry Shapiro, who is the executive director of Neighbors Helping Neighbors, otherwise known as Naho Aloha.
All right. Nice
Is that
try.
close enough?
You invited 2 tongue twisters today.
Get them over with.
There you go.
Anyway, Jerry, you have put together quite an organization since I first met you. That was like, 5, 6, 7 years ago?
Well, we're both 5-year veterans.
5
now,
years, okay.
And we stuck with it.
Yeah, you did. So, all volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
That's fabulous.
We have a little over 180 volunteers and over 375 seniors that we help who live alone in their home with no family.
Who count on those 180 volunteers to keep them going.
Well, they don't really need a nursing home, but
Right.
they can't do everything themselves anymore. Maybe they can't drive or put together a lunch. They just need a little help so they can stay in their own place.
And help, as I remember when you first started out, help was basically assisting them with taking them to doctor's appointments or picking up groceries
Right.
or just calling and checking on them to make sure they're okay.
Exactly. For example, we have some volunteers who are disabled themselves, but they might phone a senior who lives alone. In fact, we had one who fell down in the middle of her living room in Kula, and she was there 10 hours because nobody knew. So we now call her every morning, how you doing, Mrs. Ortega? And if she doesn't answer the phone, we have the phone number of the neighbor, a cousin, or somebody to go check. And it makes all the difference. So,
yeah.
So it doesn't matter what condition you're in, you can still help someone else.
That's a very good point. You may not be able to drive them someplace, but you can call them.
Right.
Or you may be able to visit them
Exactly.
or whatever. And I would think that each senior has a different need.
Right. And a different personality.
Oh, there you go. There's the catch.
Actually, our subheading is Match.com for seniors.
Match.com for
And
seniors.
the reason why these volunteers help these seniors year after year after year, sometimes 5, 10 plus years, is because we're very careful about matching a volunteer with a senior until it feels right. I tell them, listen, call me. She smells like garlic. She's smelling up my car. Whatever it is, because eventually we're going to find a match.
Right.
And don't feel guilty. We just have to let them off the hook. And it has really paid off because people stay together for years and years.
I think that detail is probably why you're so successful. I can't even say it. Successful, because a lot of people wouldn't notice that and wouldn't think of that as being so important. But it is.
Or personality differences.
Right.
And, looks can be deceiving. We had this young gal. She had like big red hair and lots of mascara and eye makeup. And we put her together with this little frail 92-year-old hunched over. Well, they both love football. And they both love, sausages or whatever. And they just totally hit it off, and they just couldn't wait to be together. So you can't tell until that first date. It's
Gotcha.
the first date. We take them personally, and we introduce them, and then they're both allowed to call us and say, this doesn't feel right.
Uh-huh.
So that extra step is what makes it work.
So now, on your volunteers, are they all seniors?
The volunteers' age range is 18 to 85.
Wow.
We'll take anybody that's breathing.
I see. Okay.
But we do check them out to
Sure.
make sure it's safe.
Right.
And, we check their references and the background to make sure that we have a safe person.
Gotcha. Okay, we're going to take another short break. We'll be right back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your Wednesday noon radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors to find out how they are helping folks on Maui who need assistance or want to learn something new and different, as from the Hui that we were speaking with Kelly here earlier. And we're talking right now with Jerry Shapiro, who is executive director of Naho'aloha, Neighbors Helping Neighbors. I know she loves that. When she came in today, she had on this big oversized name tag without her name on it. But it's your new logo, you said.
Right. We finally got tired of the old one because what it said was Maui Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers. Now, that is our legal name, and 17 years ago, people of different faiths got together and said, wouldn't it be a great idea to get people from all different faiths helping elders in their area? And they never quite got off the ground because people thought it was a church. They thought it was a religious group. The name was too long. You're down the block before the end of the name was out. They said, okay, well, we have a Hawaiian name too. Naho'aloha. Oh, great. Is that Hui no Ke'olapono? That didn't help either. So we have a tagline, Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and as soon as you hear it, you get a sense of what we do. But we are going on our 17th year, and I've been here 5. And we call ourselves the little engine that could, because there was such a struggle. For years and years, there was like no money, no staff. One of the executive directors ran away with everything. It was just like a total nightmare. We should have gone under several times, and don't ask me why we haven't. It's kind of like a miracle. And in 2006, we made a bunch of phone calls and got a group of people together and said, we have to save this agency. There are too many seniors that need help, and they're not getting the help from the county. There are not enough funds. We have a nightmare story to tell you, and half of them walked out the door and said, this is impossible. And the 8 people who were left in 2006, one of them said, I'll answer the phones. Another said, I'm a bookkeeper, I'll do the books. I said, well, we've got these grants that were never finished. We're blacklisted. There's no final reports. I'm going to make up some final reports here. And someone painted the office. And a year later, we were in the black, and we hired 1.5 people on salary to start to build it. And 5 years ago, I was out of work. I was laid off, and the board looked at me. I was on the board. And they said, Jerry, you need some work. You need a job. Would you take over executive director? I said, absolutely not. I do not want the buck stopping with me. That's too much responsibilities. Oh, just do it for 2 years. 2 years?
We've all heard that line.
Well, it turned out to be a match made in heaven because I just we all love what we do. You know, we live for those stories where people connect and it really works.
Right.
And I took like 5 classes on how to write a grant. And we're now in the black. We used to have to borrow money from the board to pay the electric bill. And it's a miracle story. It was meant to be. We've got, as I said, 180 volunteers, but we have over 375 seniors who are never going to catch up. So anyone out there who has 1 hour a week, and I was listening to the population who goes to the Hui here, because some of our 90-year-olds go to the Hui and they paint. I mean, it's like second childhood. They don't have to work. They're retired. And they're just wonderful people, and the people who get connected with them become like family. So, and there are not going to be enough people to care for all you guys when you get old like me. So, you know, what is it? Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. Yes, yes. I like the thing, the puka people.
Yeah, a lot of the rules for getting help have changed. Seniors used to be able to get rides, they used to be able to get Meals on Wheels, and then they changed the whole system in the state, how elders are funded. And like all of a sudden, 50 seniors called us and said, we can't get rides anymore from the county because we have a car in the garage that doesn't work.
The community in Maui. Today we visited with Kelly McHugh of Hui Noeau. Oh gosh, the pressure is mounting. And with Jerry Shapiro of Nahoaloha. Okay, well, I got to get that in there. And see, he starts the music right afterwards. Anyway, we got an update on what they're doing, and it's all exciting, whether it's the arts, whether it's helping somebody out. We encourage everyone out there to get involved by giving, advocating, or volunteering for your favorite nonprofit. Do it today. What are you waiting for? Please visit our website at MauiNonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. And remember, when you go to that website, all you have to do is click on the name of the agency you want to find out more about, and it'll take you straight to their website. We want to thank you all for tuning in, and don't forget to join us again next week at noon right here on Wednesday, KAOI Radio, 1110 AM, 96.7, when we'll be featuring representatives of 2 more agencies. I'm Susie Tiemann, president of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association and executive director of Lokahi Pacific.